Today, a parking solution on the horizon, a troublesome student at the crossings, and a suspicious man at the library. That's all coming up right here on Spinnaker News. Hello Ospreys, I'm Taylor Johnson. You're watching Spinnaker News on Spinnaker Television. Stalking cars will no longer be necessary in order to find a spot in the UNF Arena parking garage, all thanks to a new system. Director of Parking Services George Andrewen said a ground sensor will be placed at each level of the student parking floors. This will track cars as they go in and out of the area. A sign outside the garage will then display how many spots are available. Andrewen says that the installation of the sensors will not be an inconvenience.
What will end up happening is that we'll install it at a time that is convenient. If they have to, they may have to close down one lane of it, but I don't suspect that there'll be too much of an inconvenience for cars to get in and out of the garage. We're not planning on shutting it down in order to install it, so to speak.
Andrewen also said if the trial goes well in the arena parking garage, sensors would then be put into the other garages on campus. This system will be ready by the end of November. A student was taken into custody by the JSO Department of Corrections after falsely setting off a fire alarm and resisting arrest. On October 3rd, the officer went to the crossings parking lot due to a fire alarm going off in the crossings just before 6 a.m. Once a witness described what the suspect looked like that pulled the fire alarm, officers found and detained him. The officer noted that he was visibly under the influence of something, which they later believed to be Molly. The 17-year-old suspect resisted arrest by kicking officers. The boy was placed in a restraint but broke out and began kicking the doorframe of the patrol car. He tried to spit on and kick officers. EMTs arrived for medical assistance when the boy threatened to kill a police officer. The suspect was charged with assault, resisting an officer, disorderly intoxication, and obstruction by a disguised person. An officer was sent to the library on October 3rd because of suspicious activity. The complainant said she was at a cubicle on the 4th floor of the library. This was when a man sat down in the cubicle next to her. After a few minutes, she noticed he was lying on the floor under the cubicle. In the chair where he was sitting was a cell phone directed at her. When he noticed that she saw him, he grabbed his things and left. She said she tried to follow him, but he started walking faster and she lost sight of him. Officers searched the library but couldn't find the man. All right, Ospreys, it's time to see what's going to happen with our weather. Let's toss it to Alex Kratz.
Good morning and happy Wednesday, Ospreys. Hopefully you've been having a good week so far. I'm Alex Kratz here with your Spinnaker weather update. This morning, expect a chance of showers. As you can currently see, it's cloudy, but this should gradually clear up to give us a high near 81 degrees. And try not to blow away today, because winds will be coming in at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Later on this evening, it'll be mostly clear, but grab those jackets if you're going to be outside, because we're expecting a low around 60 degrees. And tomorrow, we should be looking at some sunnier weather. Finally, if you're wanting to check out the surf, Surfline reports that waves will be from 2 to 3 feet. Well, that's it for today's weather update. Now let's take a look at your 3-day forecast.
Thanks, Alex. And now for your sports update, here's Christian Rouet.
Hey there, Ospreys. I'm Christian Rouet, in for Brendan Thigpen, hoping he gets better. And here's your Spinnaker Sports Report. We start with the volleyball team as they beat Bethune-Cookman last night, 3-1. The Ospreys traveled to Daytona Beach, beginning 6 consecutive away matches. They return to the UNF Arena this weekend as they take on Kennesaw State Friday at 7 and USC Upstate Saturday at 3. The women's golf team had a solid finish to their final tournament in the JU Classic. UNF placed 3rd overall behind Troy in 2nd and Coastal Carolina in 1st. 4 Ospreys made the top 25 cut, anchored by veterans Natalie Nygren and Emily Alp, who both tied for 6th. The Ospreys return to action in February when they host the Hughes Cup at TPC Sawgrass. That's it for sports today, Taylor. Back to you.
Thanks, Christian. Well, that's all the time we have for you today on Spinnaker News. But for more on the stories reported today and other stories, you can check out unfspinnaker.com. You can also like the Spinnaker on Facebook at facebook.com/UNFSpinnaker, and you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at UNFSpinnaker. For Alex Krotz and Christian Ruhe, I'm Taylor Johnson. Have a great day, UNF.